Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome in. We are super excited to have you guys here. As always, we're so curious about where you guys are calling in from. So if you wanted to drop in the chat where you're calling in from, and we are so excited to get started at today's From Novice to Ninja event. And so I'll do a quick little intro. We'll jump right in. So today we're going to be looking at how to optimize your Kartra sales funnel to convert. Our special guest, Fo Alexander, is going to teach her special method, which she calls the 3 C's of marketing for coaches and consultants, which is capture, connect, and convert. If this is your first Kartra community event, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. We are super thrilled you guys are here, and we love to put these on. We put these From Novice to Ninja events on every month to provide you with some really expert knowledge and tips from Kartra's top experts that not only help you learn the power of Kartra, but teach you the key skills to master and grow your business. All previous From Novice to Ninja events can be found in the guide section at the top of the Kartra official community. So do check those out if you haven't already. We've got some great ones over crafting email sequences and memberships and custom code. But before we get started, I want to introduce our amazing co-host today, which is Fo Alexander. When she started out building her first website in 2007, she launched her blog, mamaandmoney.com, back in 2012 and turned it into a financial education and coaching platform for thousands of moms around the world. In fact, you may have even seen her featured in Yahoo Finance, BuzzFeed, Parents, and more. This began Fo's journey of going from career in engineering and continuous improvement to becoming an online marketing maven. Now, with well over a decade of mastering messaging, marketing, and systems, plus automation for herself and other businesses, she's on a mission to help other moms make more impact and income online. When she isn't tinkering around in her Kartra or ads account, she's probably chasing after her 2 kids while attempting to homeschool. What Fo loves about Kartra the most is that she fell in love with Kartra's all-in-one capabilities after years of trying every platform imaginable to run her business. And as an ex-engineer and data analytics manager, she drools over the data features. So get ready to be inspired and learn from the best. Let's welcome Fo Alexander as she shares her insights and expertise to propel us from novice to ninja.
Thank you so much, Grant. Let's get started, guys. All right, so we're going to be talking about optimizing your Kartra funnels to convert, because at the end of the day, the whole point is to use this powerful marketing tool to turn leads and prospects into actual clients. So here's exactly what we'll be learning today. So we are going to simplify the traditional sales funnel that you probably learned. So I'm going to actually teach you my 3 C's, which is a simplified way to think about marketing and sales funnels. So first, I'm going to break down exactly how you can capture qualified leads into your sales funnel. So you'll learn how to effortlessly capture potential clients into your funnel using Kartra's forms and pages feature. Then I'm going to show you how to connect with those leads through conversations. So you'll learn how you can establish immediate connections with hot leads, nurture relationships, and build trust using Kartra's sequence feature. And a secret bonus that I didn't tell Grant about, but I'll teach you another bonus as well. And then lastly, I'm going to teach you how you can convert those prospects into clients. So you'll learn how to enroll your clients by leveraging Kartra's integrated Zoom, calendar features, and also checkout pages. So a little bit about me before we get started. Grant already kind of gave you an introduction. Again, I am Fo. I am an ex-engineer turned marketing consultant and coach. I've been doing online marketing since 2012 and building websites, funnels, automations for the past 17 years. I am a homeschool-ish mom, I like to say, to 2 toddlers. Haven't quite figured that out yet. I'm also the founder of Mama and Money, which you mentioned, which is a financial education platform for moms. So you can add certified financial educator to that list of things that I do. And I'm also the founder of The Monetized Mom, which is where I do my marketing consultant for moms who want to make more while doing less. And I've literally tried every tool under the sun and have been a Kartra user since 2021. So it's what I use for myself and for my clients. And I can attest to the fact that if you learn how to use its features, it is definitely a powerful tool that can help you in your business. Okay, so let's get started and hop right in. All right, so for my visual learners, this is what we will be creating today. We're actually going to be building an actual sales funnel. All right. It's a simple sales funnel that you can literally create today. So if you want to watch the replay on this, or if you want to do this tomorrow, this is something that you can literally create within a few hours, if not less, right? So I'm going to show you how to create an opt-in page for your lead magnet. I'm going to teach you how to create a simple thank you page, a follow-up sequence to nurture your leads, and a booking page and calendar and checkout page. Okay. So we're actually going to be working backwards. So we're going to start with the calendar and booking page because you'll need this for everything else. Now, the reason that I'm saying a calendar page, at least for this sales funnel that we're using, you're going to be using a phone call to enroll clients. And the reason that I'm using this example is because phone calls, enrollment calls, sales calls typically have the highest conversion rates when it comes to coaches and consultants. So this is why we're using this approach, right? Now, before I hop over to Kartra and actually show you how to do this, let's talk about some key elements that you will need to include on this calendar and booking page. The creating the calendar part is pretty straightforward, but we don't just want to have a calendar. We actually want to have a page that we embed our calendar in. Now, the reason that this is important is because with a page, you're able to do a lot more things than just the calendar itself. So when you have your calendar within a page, you're able to add tracking code, you're able to add tags, you're able to add different things that are going to be beneficial if you were to do something like running ads, or if you wanted to do some kind of automations or that are triggered by someone visiting a page, right? All those are things that you can do within a page and not necessarily the calendar by itself. So we want all those capabilities and functionalities. So we're going to start by creating an actual page that we embed our calendar in. Now, the obvious goal here is to get potential clients to book a call with you so you can ultimately close them as clients. But here's the caveat. You really only want to be getting on the phone with people who are going to be ideal clients. So you're not wasting your time. You're not wasting their time. So you need some way to qualify these people before they get on the phone. That means you need to have some kind of qualifying questions that you ask before someone books a call. So as we are building our calendar, we're going to add some qualifying questions to the form such that when you are evaluating whether or not you want to accept this call or not, you'll have all the information to determine whether this person is qualified. So I'm going to show you how to add these qualifying questions to your calendar. Now, these are just a few that you can use as an example. Obviously, it depends on your niche, but you may ask some things regarding like what challenges they're having, what are their goals, how urgent is it that they get help and support, how did they find you, what was the referral source, have they made any past investments in getting help, what's their income or revenue, why they are interested. These are all questions that you can ask on your calendar as someone is booking, so you can help qualify them to determine whether or not this is someone you actually want to get on the phone with so you're not wasting time. All right. So we're going to hop over to Kartra. And as we transition, I'm going to let you know, I'm going to be sharing my whole screen. So you might enter into a matrix for a little bit, but let's go ahead and hop over to Kartra so that we can actually demonstrate how to do this. All right. So you should be seeing my Kartra screen after you have gone through the matrix. And right now I am on the calendar tab. On the right-hand side, I'm on the calendar tab within Kartra. All right. And so basically what I'm going to do is create a new calendar. And as you can see that there are different types of calendars that you can create within Kartra. I'm just going to use the consultant model. This allows you to have different dates that you are available for people to book a call with you. So I'm going to hit create here. And I'm just going to name this novice to ninja. All right. And so, of course, we're going to go through some of the basic stuff that you have to have in order to set up a calendar. It's going to ask for your logo, so you can go in and change your logo. And then it's going to ask what you want the color theme to be. I usually keep it quite simple here, but you can obviously change it if you go through and kind of pick one that's more correlated to your brand colors. But just hit save, and that'll take you here. And we want to hit save and next. Now, this is a new calendar, so it's letting you know that you can have multiple classes within the same calendar. Just say, yes, I understand. It's kind of like clicking the terms and conditions without necessarily reading it. But yes, I understand that I can schedule multiple classes, right? So now we get to the part where we're going to call this whatever you want to call it. I like to call mine strategy calls. You may call this an enrollment call, whatever you want to name it. So discovery call with Fo or whoever, right? But you just want to put what's the name of the call, what's the description, and how long. So in this case, the default is an hour. My calls are usually not that long, so maybe something like 45 minutes, and that'll give you time to go through. If you have a sales script, it allows you to do all that. And then, of course, you want to be able to pick whoever is the host or the person that's going to be hosting the call, which will be you. Obviously, in your Kartra account, you'll be able to select yourself. Now, we want to go ahead and select the days and times that we're available. So let's just say Tuesday at not 12 a.m. Say you're available Tuesday at 1 p.m. and you want to do it in maybe 30-minute increments or maybe hour increments or something like that. You can go ahead and select multiple days and times that you're available. And let me select Thursday. So now it's going to show that I have availability Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1, 2, and 3 p.m. Now for this, we just leave it at one session because they're only booking one call with you. For the minimum booking notice, obviously all this is up to you. I don't like for people to book the same day with me. So I usually will say, don't allow same day booking, which means that they can book the next day or, subsequent days, but I don't allow same day booking. That's completely up to you. I like to time block and be in control of my calendar. Really just depends on you. And then, as far as the booking restrictions, so this is where you can determine how far out it's going to show your calendar. Now, as a general rule of thumb for me, I typically only show about 7 days of availability because what happens when you go beyond that, people tend to forget that they booked a call. So you can set this up however you want to, but usually I like to say only show bookings that are available within the next 7 days just to get people to book calls as soon as possible and so that they don't forget. Now, the great thing about Kartra is that you can also come here and block any specific days. So for instance, if there is a holiday coming up or maybe you're taking vacation and you need to block off time, you can block these specific dates here so that it takes those dates off of your calendar and they don't show as available. Now, here's a cool feature that you can do here. You can actually come down and sync all of your appointments with all your calendars. This is probably advantageous. If you're someone like me who has multiple calendars for different things, you want to make sure that you sync your appointments across all of your classes and all of your calendars, just so that you don't have any conflict. So I'm going to hit save here, and I'm also going to hit save at the top. And then we're going to complete the rest of it. So now you can also sync this with your Google Calendar. Now, this is great for people like me who like to time block. And so when I have personal things on my calendar, I know that I'm not going to be scheduling any calls that are going to conflict with anything else that I have on my calendar. Now, I will say the caveat when it comes to syncing with Google Calendar and Kartra is that it's going to read everything that's on your calendar. So even if it's a time block that you have that's meant for you to be available, if it's anything that's on your calendar, is going to block it off. So what you may want to do is have a calendar specifically for Kartra that you link to and sync to so that it doesn't show like, times that you are available, but you just have a time block on there. So that's just the caveat here, but you can definitely sync your calendar with Google and it's a lifesaver. So what that will do is add your calls to your Google Calendar. So as you're looking at your plan for the day, you will be able to see that, hey, I have an enrollment call, a sales call with this person, and you're able to have that on your calendar. So I would definitely recommend syncing that with your Google Calendar. It's quite simple. Just come here. You will have to be integrated and then just select which calendar you want to sync it with. Again, like I said, you can have multiple calendars to help make sure that, time doesn't get blocked off that doesn't need to be blocked off. So once you've done that, you want to hit save. And then the other thing is Zoom. So if you come down to the left-hand side of Kartra, there is an integrations tab. And this is where you can actually do those integrations. So this is where you can set up your Google Calendar and you can also set up your Zoom or Google Meet. Now, I'm currently integrated with Zoom. And so I will just hit add Zoom meeting. And what this will do is as someone is scheduling a call with you, it automatically generates a Zoom link. So that way you don't have to worry about going back and sending them the Zoom link or password. When you're integrated within Kartra and you select yes to this and select Zoom, it automatically creates the Zoom link. And so all you have to do is nothing really. You just really have to just click on the Zoom link to start the call, and everything is going to be done for you in the back end. So that's a great integration to have if you don't have it already within your Kartra. So in most cases, I'm going to just select yes, add a meeting room. I'm going to select Zoom. I'm going to select which one of my Zoom accounts I want to use, and all the work is going to be done for me in the back end. Now, for the purpose of this, I'm just going to say no so we can keep going. But we're going to hit save and then save and next. All right. So the next thing that's going to come up on this page is the registration. So this is what information people have to enter in order to book a call with you. Now, for these calls, I leave them as free because these are sales calls, right? But I'm going to leave this as free. Now, remember we talked about having qualifying questions on your calendar before people book a call. This is where you add them. So we're going to add some fields, some custom fields into this particular calendar. So I'm going to hit add a field, and I want to create a custom field. And this is where I can ask those specific questions. So for instance, I may have a question about any prior investments they've made with a consultant or with a coach. So I'm going to call that field identifier any prior investment. And you can't put spaces, so just know it's going to be one word. So I put any prior investment, and I'm going to make this a text area. So they're going to have to answer via text. And I'm going to ask the question, the field label will be what prior investments have you made? Tell me about any other coaching programs you've done or consultants you've worked with. So then I'm going to hit mandatory, and this means that the field is now mandatory for them to fill out. So this is how you create a custom field. I'm going to hit save, and now that's going to be a field that's added to my calendar. So now they're going to have to enter their first name, their last name, their email address, and then they're going to have to also answer this question. Now you can add additional fields that aren't necessarily custom. So you can add like the phone number field. You can add an address field if that's relevant to what you're doing. If you need like their website information, these are all fields that are already native to Kartra. So you can just use any existing fields, and then you can decide whether or not you want to make them mandatory in order for them to fill out the form. Okay, so that's how we add our custom fields. Now, I will say if you want to edit your custom fields, the way that you do that will be forms. We can walk through that a little bit later, but you will go to forms and there's a tab that says custom fields, and you can make any edits to your custom fields once they are created here. So I'm just going to hit save. And then the next thing we're going to do is our time zone. I leave it in their respective time zone so that people can schedule according to their time zone. All right. So I just usually leave it there. Obviously, is your preference. I just hit save. And then when we do our success message, we can do a couple of options here. Now, for the sake of this demonstration, I'm just going to leave it as the standard, which is display a confirmation message as opposed to sending them to another page. But here you can just set up your confirmation message, letting them know, hey, your call has been booked. And then you can use this area here to provide additional information, letting them know, hey, you'll get an email with the Zoom link and, how to prepare for the call. You can do that here. So you have that option. And then you also have the option to redirect them to another page. Again, we're not going to go through that today, but know that that is an option. So maybe you want to create a custom confirmation page, or maybe you want to send them somewhere on your site. That is an option, but for the sake of this, we can just leave it as, hey, congrats, your call has been booked, and then providing the additional information. So I'm going to hit save here, and then I'm going to hit save and next. Now, the next thing is sending confirmation emails and reminders. This is going to be really important because you want to make sure people actually show up to the call. So we do want to communicate with our users. I'm not going to necessarily go through emails here, but you would hit yes, communicate with users. Make sure that your sender name, your from, and your to email is appropriate. It's the correct one. If you haven't done your updates, be sure to do those. But you want to hit yes. And now you have the ability to come in and send booking confirmation emails and also reminder emails. So we're going to click on this one. And as you can see, it pops up below. And if I hit the edit button, I can go in and edit the confirmation email. So basically, Kartra already has a template there, so you can just modify it. And one thing that I will add, if you do the Zoom integration, you want to make sure you're adding the meeting room into that email. So I'm just going to grab that dynamic field and I'm going to hit enter and I'm just going to paste it. And now what that does is it's going to automatically add that Zoom link into the confirmation email. So again, if you are using the Zoom integration or even the Google Meet integration, be sure to add the meeting room dynamic field into your email so that that link gets sent out. Okay. Now you can do any other editing that you want to do to this email. But pretty much there's a standard template here that you can kind of follow and make some modifications and customizations as you see fit. So I'm just going to hit edit and I'm going to save that one. And then we also want to set up reminder emails. So the cool thing about Kartra is you can set up as many reminder emails as you want to, and you can also set up follow-up emails. So I'm going to create a new reminder email. And I typically like to send a reminder email before a call a day before and as low as an hour before. That's the minimum that you can send. Hopefully, Kartra will reduce that a little bit more. But you can send as late as an hour before. And this is just, again, a reminder saying, hey, you have an upcoming call. This is what the call is, and this is the time. And again, you want to always make sure you're adding the meeting room to that email so that they have that Zoom or Google Meet link. So that's the only thing that I will add to this email. Obviously, you can customize it, but this is going to let them know an hour before the call that they, there's a reminder. So you hit save here, save. We hit save and next. And so now you get to decide whether or not you will allow people to cancel their calls. Now, when they do get the confirmation email, one thing that they will get is a username and password, which will allow them to log in and make changes to their calendar. Like if they want to cancel the call, if they want to reschedule, they can log in and do that. You can decide whether or not you want to allow that to happen. So you can decide if you want to allow cancellations or not. I usually say no, but that's completely up to you. So I usually just hit save here and then instant approval. Now, remember, we're asking qualifying questions on this calendar to determine whether or not this person is a fit. Now, with instant approval, as soon as someone books, they're going to be approved. Their call is going to be accepted. With manual approval, you actually have to go in and approve yes or no whether or not you're going to take that call. Now, I typically like to use manual approval just to make sure I'm getting on the phone with qualified leads. However, if you want to just keep things simple, you can do instant approval and then you can go back later, look through their qualifying questions. If they're not a fit, you can always go back and cancel the call and just send a follow-up email saying, hey, I don't think you're fit for services, or however you want to, spruce that up. But know that it is an option to do instant approval or manual approval with your calendar. All right. So I'm just going to leave it at instant. Manual will let you decide whether or not you want to take the call. All right. So let's hit save. Save and next. We're not going to do anything here with the automations. There's nothing that we need to do in particular, but you do have the option to add tags, add people to a list, all those things. We're not going to do that here. It's not important. We're just going to hit save and next, and we have created our calendar. Now, the next thing that we want to do is to actually create a page to embed this calendar. Now, remember, I said the reason that we want to create a page is because we can add tracking code, we can add different tags. There are so many things that allow us to have different functionality beyond just the calendar when we put it in a page. So I'm going to head over to pages. So on the left-hand side, click pages, and I'm just going to create a blank page, a new page that's going to be blank because this is going to be super simple. Literally, we're just going to embed the calendar. So I'm going to hit blank page. I'm going to call this novice to ninja booking. And I think I don't have a category. I'm going to put it in my Novice to Ninja website group to stay organized. And we're just going to create, do something really simple. So we have a blank page. So the first thing that we need to do is add a section. So I'm going to click here, add section. I'm going to add an empty section. Drag that here. Now the next thing it's telling us to do is to add a column. So I'm going to add a component. I'm going to go to columns, and I'm just going to add 100% column. And that just means it's going to be the full width of the page. Now, the next thing that I want to do is I want to add another component, which is going to be the calendar we just created. So I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to click on calendars, and I'm just going to drag that component into the box until that line turns green. And then I'm going to close this out. So now I'm just going to go in and edit, and I'm going to say that I want to add my Novice to Ninja calendar here, hit apply. And now that calendar is going to be added to that page. All right. So now we can come back and we can add some additional stuff. Like we can do a headline, for instance, and we can say, we can just put, let's just use this template, right? We can drop a headline and we can say next step, and we can do something like book your call. Now, ideally, I would not have text this big on a calendar booking page, but you get the point. You can add a headline on here just to let people know, hey, the next step is for you to book your call. You can add text, whatever. You can just add something on the at the top of it to let people know, hey, here's your next step. All right. So that's done. Now, here's why I think it's important to put your calendar in a page. You can come here on settings. You can add, again, tracking codes. So if you're running Facebook ads to this calendar for whatever reason, or if you're tracking conversions, you can do that here. Or if you're running like Google ads, you can also update like your SEO parameters. Not going to get too technical, but you can change your page title here. You can add an image. So when you share this, it pops up a specific image. All these things are possible with pages, which aren't necessarily possible if we had just taken the link to the calendar. So we're just going to save, we're going to save progress. And then I'm going to just go ahead and publish this live. And now we want to keep in mind that this is the link to the calendar. You have the ability to edit your calendar. If you have custom domains, you can always change the URL to it. I'm not going to worry about that. But we want to keep this page open because we want to be able to use that calendar link in what we're going to do next, which is going to be our sequences. All right. So I'm going to leave this here and I'm going to hop back over to the slides so we can talk about what we're going to do next. Hold tight because you guys are going to go through the matrix. So let's get back to the presentation. All right, so we've created our calendar. Now the next thing that we want to do is create a nurture sequence. And this is where we're going to actually be connecting with those ideal clients, having those conversations, and ultimately moving them to book a call with you. So that's what we're going to create next. Now, so there are three main purposes for the nurture sequence. So you really want to obviously deliver the lead magnet, right? But you also want to provide a link for them to access that. But you also want to start building that relationship and ultimately getting them to book a call with you, because that's where you're going to actually make the sale. So the emails that I like to include in this would be something along the lines of, hey, here's your lead magnet. And also here's a little bit about me and what I do. And then you want to add value and then get to them to engage with you. So typically when I do a sequence email, I like to do about 5 to 7 days of a sequence. So every day after they opt in, they're going to get an email. So the first day is going to be, hey, here's what you opted in for. Here's more about me, how we can connect. The next day is going to be like, here's some additional information that you might find valuable. Hey, why don't you reply back and start engaging? And then so on and so forth. The goal here is to continue building and nurturing that relationship and getting people to communicate back with you via emails. So this is just an example of some emails that you can create like over 3 days. But again, I usually do 5 to 7 days. It just depends. All right. So let's go ahead and hop on over to to Kartra one more time, and we're going to build a sequence. Hold tight. We're going through the matrix really quick. All right. So we're going to build a sequence. Now, to build a sequence, you're going to go to communications on the left-hand side, and then at the top, communications, and then you're going to hit sequences. Now, this is going to allow you to create multiple emails that are going to send out automatically based on a specific trigger. And the trigger that for us is going to be the opt-in for your lead magnet. So I've already started one, but essentially all I did was hit the plus sign to create a sequence, and I just named it Novice to Ninja Demo. So I'm just going to hit the edit. This is what yours is going to look like when you start from scratch anyway. So we'll click edit after putting in the name and the description of the sequence. And we're going to actually put some emails in. Now, usually when you are starting off with a sequence, it's going to require that you start with a trigger. We actually don't want to do this, and it's not necessary for what we're using it for, okay? So we're not going to start with a trigger. We're actually going to start by just dragging and dropping an email in. So you can see I've already added 2, but essentially the way that we do this is click here where it says send email on the left-hand side. We're going to just drag it down to the grid and drop it. And as you can see, it's going to appear where you can start, excuse me, adding information. Now, when we're first starting our first email, we want it to automatically trigger. So you're going to select right after the previous step. For this particular email, this is probably the third one in this sequence. So I'm just going to say wait a number of days. So for this email, since it's the third day, I'm going to say wait 1 day after executing the previous step. So this means that it's going to trigger 1 day after the second email is sent. So hopefully that makes sense. All right, so we're going to hit next. And then here you can choose the day and time. Now, I'm not very specific about the day and time here, but some people are really serious about making it seem like they're only working certain times of day. So they may only send their information between certain hours, like 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. I'm not, serious about that. If someone opts into my lead magnet at 1 a.m., I want them to get the email at 1 a.m. So I usually leave this as is. So allow time any time of day, any day of the week. I'm going to hit next. We're going to name this broadcast. So this is day 3. So I would just name this day 3 and whatever the intent of the email is, book a call or something like that. You can come up with your own naming structure, but this is just an example. Gateway, of course, you want to make sure that you have your email set up here. I'm going to hit next. And then for this particular one, I'm not going to select, if they don't agree to get communications, I'm not going to send them anything unless it's a product. In this case, if they don't want to be contacted, I'm just not going to send it to them. Otherwise, I'm just going to hit send to anyone reaching this step. And I'm going to hit add and just hit next. So I'm going to leave this box unchecked. I'm going to hit next. And here you can do a split test. So maybe you have 2 different subject lines that you want to test out to see which one opens the highest. I just simply go with one single email and leave it at that. But if you want to do some like marketing testing where you're splitting to see which headline gets the most opens, then you can certainly do an A/B split test. But for this, the purpose of what we're doing, I'm just going to select single email. And then, of course, you can add your email content. So I'm going to say, hey, book your call or something like that. And then you can add the hello, blah, blah, blah. You can add the context of the email. But remember, we want them to ultimately book a call in your calendar. So I'm going to say yada, yada, yada. P.S. Don't forget to book a complimentary call. And then what I'm going to do is add that calendar page link that we just created. Here's the link. Here is the link. So I'm going to go back to that tab that we left open. I'm going to grab that link. I'm going to go here. I am going to hyperlink it. Hit OK. And then I am going to hit next. So now we don't need to do any automations. Hit create. So now I've created my day 3 email. I'm just going to go here. I'm going to connect my dots. This is always the fun part. Reminds me of childhood. I'm going to hit arrange items just to organize it. And then I'm going to make sure I activate this email. All right. So now these emails are active, meaning once it is triggered, they are going to send out. All right. All right. So I'm going to hit done and exit. And so now we have created our sequence. All right. So let's head back over here. So here's a bonus that you can also include with when it comes to your sequences. So I just showed you how to add emails sequences. So when someone opts in, they automatically get their emails. You can also do text message. So one thing that I like to do is as someone opts into my email list, I like to send them a text message. So you can also do an integration with Twilio or any of the other text message integrations within Kartra. And so just as you are sending an email within a sequence, you can also set it up to send a text message within a sequence as well. So that is a bonus to start getting that engagement and starting those conversations with your ideal clients. And it's definitely something that will set you apart from everyone else who's just sending out emails. So you can use this again to text your leads to say, hey, here's a link to the lead magnet in addition to sending the email. And you can also use text message as a way to confirm, calendar bookings as well. So that's just a bonus pro tip there that you can use text messaging as well to help when it comes to nurturing those conversations with your leads. All right, so let's move on. So now we've created our booking page in our calendar. We've created our nurture sequence, and we're going to continue to walk backwards. We're going to create a thank you page. Now, obviously, everyone's lead magnet is going to be different. I have a strong preference towards video lead magnets. So doing like a quick training, this could also be like a webinar or something, but ideally videos. And the reason that I am so pro video is because of the data capabilities that you have with video. When you do a lead magnet, like a download, like an ebook, a checklist, you can see when people click on the link, but you can't see what actions they take beyond that. With video, you can actually see how long people are watching. You can tag them. If they watch beyond a certain point, you can trigger automations. So there's just so much more that you can do with videos, which is why I recommend them. So for this particular example, we're going to pretend like our lead magnet is a video. All right. And so when someone opts into this particular sales funnel, they're going to opt in and they're going to be immediately taken to a page that pretty much delivers that video. All right. So we're going to set that up. We're going to hop on over to Kartra and set up a thank you page that includes the video for you, which is going to be your lead magnet. OK, so let's go ahead and hop back into the matrix. And we're going to go to pages. All right. So I've already clicked on pages on the left-hand side here. And I did a search for thank you pages, right? Because that's what we're actually creating. And the one that I specifically like that pretty much has everything that I'm looking for is the dark video thank you download, right? So I'm just going to use this particular one. Obviously, you can use whatever one you choose, or you can create one from scratch. I'm just going to use this one. So I'm going to hit select. I'm going to call this thank you page. Novice to Ninja. No category in particular. My site is going to be Novice to Ninja. I'm going to hit create. All right. Now, the reason that I chose this one is because not much editing has to be done, right? I don't have to include a logo here. I'll probably just delete that one. But pretty much it says what I wanted to say. So thanks for thanks for signing up. I can change that to be thanks for grabbing this training. Whatever you want it to be, right? And then you could put a quick note, say, hey, check out this free training, blah, 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 stay to the end. Whatever you want to use as, a note that you want people to have once they opt in. And then the video is already embedded. So for the video lead magnet, we would just simply click here on the edit. And then we could select a video, either if you have one already in Kartra, if you have one in Vimeo, YouTube, you can upload a video here, right? So I could select a video from any of my categories and just embed one there. So this template is just super easy for that type of lead magnet. So if you're doing any kind of video lead magnet, this particular template is great for that. Obviously, you can go back and change the color. So if you don't want this orange, you can just select that and you can, go in and change it to whatever color you want. All those are edits that are easy to make. And then now for this particular example, you can add additional stuff here. But really on this, with this sales funnel, the goal is to get people to book a call with you. So they're going to watch the video. You're going to have a call to action for them to book a call. So I want to eliminate anything else that's really going to distract them from that. So I would likely delete this whole text box here because it's not necessary. And all this other stuff I would probably delete as well, because I really want to just remove any kind of distractions or anything that's going to divert them from the end goal, which is for them to actually book a call. So I would probably delete this whole box if I can get it to select the whole box. Here we go. I delete that, and I literally just change this button to say, wait for it. There we go. I changed the button to say book a call. And the link that I would use is I would send it to my calendar page. So I'm going to link it to another page. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to link it to another Kartra page, and I'm going to link it to that booking page that we just created. So my Novice to Ninja page, Novice to Ninja booking. See how simple that is? It's all integrated. So now someone opts in, they get this video lead magnet that you've created. That's going to be super awesome. It's going to have a call to action at the end to say, hey, click the button below to book a call. They're going to click that button. It's going to take them to the booking page. So we are almost pretty much done creating this sales funnel working backwards. Okay. So again, we're going to just hit save our progress. We're going to hit publish live. All right, so that's published. We don't necessarily need this link for anything. All right, so we have created so far our booking page, our welcome sequence, our thank you page, and now what we need to do is create the front-facing thing, which is the opt-in page. Okay, so let's talk about the opt-in page. All right. So just like the calendar booking page, there are some questions that you want to ask as people are opting in, just so that you can get more information about the leads that are signing up for your opt-in, right? So when it comes to forms, I do like to keep it simple. You want to ask the right questions and get the right information without turning people away. Maybe you've been on an opt-in page where they ask for how many children you have, what's your address, like all this information. You're like, whoa, this is too much. I'm not going to give you that. So you want to keep it as simple as possible, but you still want to make sure you're getting the right information. So I like to make, obviously the email has to be mandatory. So you're going to get their name, obviously, because you want to be able to contact them. One field that I like to add is phone number. So a lot of people don't necessarily think they need phone number, but this is really good to have. Even if you aren't doing text messaging marketing now, having that later is a great asset to have. So asking for that phone number is a good option as well. And then the one thing that you also want to include is marketing consent. So having some kind of checkbox to say, hey, I'm consenting to you emailing me or texting me, and maybe even linking to your privacy policy or your disclosure or whatever. You want to make sure you're actually getting people's marketing consent. And I believe if it depends on what country they're in, I believe Kartra automatically will make the GDPR pop up where they have to do that. But I just like to add an additional box to where you're consenting and agreeing for me to market to you. Okay. All right, so here's an example of a landing page or an opt-in page. Like I said, I like to keep it simple. You want the least amount of distractions that will cause someone to leave the page and not opt in. So we'll only be doing a headline that describes what the lead magnet is about and the form for them to actually opt in. So this is actually a screenshot of my opt-in page that I use currently within my business. Very simple. literally, this is what it is. It's the headline, you know, and it's the form. That's it. You don't need any pictures. You don't need any videos. Keep it as simple as possible. You want the least amount of friction as possible, and the least amount of distractions as possible, so that people are actually taking the action that you want to take. So let's talk about the headline, because that's going to be important if you want to have a really good conversion rate. So when it comes to the headline for your opt-in page, this is the formula that I recommend. So essentially, you want to communicate what they're getting, who it's for, why they need it or why they want it, and why, you know, what it is that they desire, and how they are going to accomplish whatever it is that they desire, right? So here's a formula that I like to use, right? Discover the whatever your method is or framework that whoever your ideal clients are using to get whatever desired results without whatever their pain point is. All right. So think about it like this. Maybe you are like a fitness coach. So discover the lean method. Let's go with that. I don't know what it means, but discover the lean method that moms are using to lose postpartum weight without working out every day. Right? So now I'm able to show exactly what the method is. They don't know what the lean method is, but that's what they're opting in to learn about. They know it's for them. Hey, I'm a mom. I'm a mom trying to lose postpartum weight, and I don't want to have to work out every day. So that's a simple headline formula that you can use so that you are immediately pinpointing who it is for, what they're going to get. And this is what's going to literally explode your conversion rate when it comes to your opt-in. Okay. So let's keep it simple. This is the formula that we will use here. All right. So the next thing that we're going to create is a quick opt-in form, and then we're going to create the opt-in page. All right. So I'm going to head over to Kartra one more time. Let's get ready to get into the matrix. Put your helmets on. All right. So I'm over here on forms. So left-hand side, forms. I'm just going to click this button that's throbbing at me to create a form. And so I'm going to hit form here. I'm going to name it Novice to Ninja. Hit create. And so again, we want to keep it super simple. We want to get their name, their email address, and I'm going to add a new field, which is going to be their phone number. So I'm going to go to phone number. I like to do phone number without country code. If you are international, obviously, if you have a huge international audience, then you will probably want to put country code. But I like to do without country code just so it's easier. And I just make the default US because the majority of my, my audience is US. I'm going to hit save. And then I'm also going to add my marketing consent field. Now, this is a custom field that you can create. And so I already have one created, but I've already showed you how to create a custom field. So I'm going to find it somewhere down here. Okay, so there's actually the agree to terms and conditions. Actually, this is interesting. So you can put your terms and condition website page, your privacy disclaimer. So yeah, so those are all things that you can put. I just like to put a disclaimer. And I can't honestly remember the name. I think it's marketing consent. So I've already created one. Mine has a marketing consent where I said, yes, send me this free training. And then I say, hey, by checking this box, you agree to receive email and text message marketing from my company. Message frequency varies, opt out at any time, right? So I just like to put that marketing consent there. So now they have to check the box and it's mandatory. All right. So we're just going to hit save. That's all you need to do for forms. Save and next. Now, here's the option for a single versus a double opt-in. Single opt-in means that they just, once they fill out the form, everything's good. They don't have to confirm anything. Double opt-in means that they have to go to their inbox, confirm that they actually want to receive marketing material from you and be on your email list in order for them to go through. I like to use single opt-in just because of ease. Remember, we want to reduce the amount of friction. However, if you run into an issue with spam, maybe bots are, signing up for your opt-in, then you do want to do double opt-in just to weed out people who are spam. But for, ease, right, I just like to use single opt-in. All right. And then, so that is good here. Now for our success page, remember we work backwards for a reason. So after they opt in, we want to take them to our thank you page that we just created. So I'm going to select my Novice to Ninja page. that I just said, thank you. And so now immediately after they opt in, they're going to be sent to that thank you page that we just created. That's the beauty of working backwards. Now, when you set up everything, it's going to be completely flawless. You aren't having to click between tabs to do everything. It's going to be completely flawless and seamless during your setup. So we're going to hit save and next. And you can send a welcome message, but guess what? We've already created our sequence, so we don't need to do that. What we're going to do is hit, we're going to leave it as it is. Don't send a welcome message. We're going to hit save and next. And what we're going to do is subscribe them to a sequence. Remember, we've already created that welcome sequence. So I'm going to go to the next tab, which is automations, subscribe to sequences. I'm going to hit change and I'm going to say, yes, subscribe to sequence because I already created one. I'm going to select here. Where's my Novice to Ninja? Here we go. Novice to Ninja demo. And I'm going to put them right at step 1, which is email 1. This is why when we created our sequence, we didn't need a trigger because it's going to be triggered here in our automation. So I'm going to hit save. I'm going to hit save and next. And so we're going to be using this in a Kartra page. So we're going to create that landing page. So we're going to say, I will use the form in another Kartra asset, and we're just going to hit save. All right. Now you can change your form design and all that stuff. The form design being whether or not you want to embed it or use it in Kartra. We're just going to hit save and next. We're finished. All right. So we've created our form, y'all. We have one more step. One more. We're going to create the opt-in page. So while I'm here, we're going to go back over to pages. Now we can obviously Kartra has squeeze pages that you can choose from, but remember I said we want to keep it simple. We just want a headline and the form. We want the least amount of distractions as possible. So we're going to click blank page here. And I'm just going to call this Novice to Ninja opt-in. Now, you might want to be specific about the page because sometimes this is what shows up on your, the top part on the tab or whatever. So you may want to have a real name on here. But for the sake of this, I'm just going to call it NTN opt-in. I'm going to put it in no category in particular. And I'm going to put it in my Novice to Ninja site. Hit create. All right. All right. So now we're going to do what we just did, y'all. Super simple. We're going to add our section because they're telling us we need a section. So I'm going to add a section, empty block. I'm going to add my column, which is going to be 100%. So it's going to span the width of the page, drop it here. And now I'm going to add another component. I'm going to add my headline. Oh, I got to click on that. I want to add my headline. You can choose from their the examples that are here, right? Or the templates that are here. You can create your own. I'm not sure why that didn't go all the way to the top, but we'll go with it. And then I want to add my component, which is going to be my form. So opt-in fields. All right. I'm just going to do small opt-in field, and that should be it. All right. All right. So now we got it. So I like to put exclusive training because that's what it is, right? And remember what our headline formula was? Discover. I'm not going to do it all, right? Let's go with the lean method that moms are using to lose 40 pounds postpartum without exercising every day. All right. And so let's see, what do we want to say? For busy moms, I just like to add some jazz to it. For busy moms who don't have time to waste, or something like that. Add some jazz to it, right? Okay, and so now we have our headline. And then the only thing that we need to do is configure our form. So we've dropped that in there. We're going to click the edit button and we're going to select from our opt-in forms. This is why we work backwards, people. Makes everything easy. So it was called Novice to Ninja. So we're going to hit apply. Now you can come in here and you can like edit your button color. So maybe, whatever your brand colors are, you can change that. You can do whatever, customizations there. But for the most part, you can change hey, grab this training, access this training, make your button more enticing, all those fun things, right? All right, so now we're done. We have created our whole sales funnel, guys. So I'm going to hit save progress. As always, you might want to turn on your auto save just for, just in case. We hit publish live. And so now we have our opt-in page. So when you are sharing your lead magnet for people to opt in, and when you are running maybe ads, I like to run ads. This is the link that you are going to use to drive people to this particular opt-in page. Again, you can go in and edit, to be like, hey, you might want to call this opt-in or whatever, lead magnet, whatever you want to call it. You can edit that. Oh man, I messed it up. So let's call it opt-in if I don't have that already. All right. So we can call it that. And if you have a custom domain, you can also go in and change your custom domains, which I always do. All right. So that's the option. So we can say that. And this is the link that you're going to share. So in your social media bio, on your ads, anywhere you're sharing your opt-in page, this is the link that you're going to share. All right. So we're going to just close that out because we are done with that part. All right. Quick matrix run really quick. All right. Now we're back to reality. So listen, guys, you have literally just built your funnel. That wasn't that not simple? I see a lot of people saying like this was seamless, working backwards. Yes, that is the key to doing a lot of this stuff, just knowing what the flow is and working backwards. All right, so you built your funnel, right? And so now you can start driving traffic to it. Again, we have the link, put it in your social media profile, run it with your Facebook ads. But obviously, the goal is to enroll clients. So before we do the final step, which is creating your checkout page and your product to convert those book calls into clients, let's talk about optimizing this funnel. So I said a lot of stuff about headlines and all, increasing your conversion rates, but let's talk about how to actually optimize your funnel. And Kartra actually has a new feature called the funnel, right, where you can see the analytics at each step. All right. So let's talk about some kind of rules of thumb or like kind of best practices. So some key performance indicators for your funnel. So these are like some industry standards. Do not take them as stone, right? Don't take them as commandments. These are just industry standards that you can use as a guide, right? To see how your opt-in pages are going. So, so for your opt-in conversion, typically you want to get around 30% opt-in rate. Now, the way that you can kind of tweak that, so if you're kind of below it, maybe you have to work on your messaging. Maybe you need to work on your lead magnet. Perhaps you need to work on your headline. This is just an indicator on things that you can try to test to improve that conversion, so that opt-in. The second thing is your call conversion. So industry standard is about 10 to 15% of people who book a call. So if you get people coming in to your opt-in page and going through this funnel, about 10 to 15% of those people will book a call. Usually around 3% of them will book immediately. And then the other 7% are going to like maybe do it later within a few weeks or maybe even a few months if you're doing a good job with nurturing via email, text message, all that stuff. All right. And so then the next metric that we want to pay attention to is your close rate. Now, this is once you get people on the phone, the average close rate or a good standard close rate is about 20%. So every 10 people you get on the phone, you'll close 2 of them into clients. So these are just KPIs, industry standards that you can kind of go by. But obviously, these numbers allow you to see what you need to tweak. And this is obviously where working with someone in marketing like me can help you be helpful in improving those numbers. All right. So this is a screenshot of the funnel feature, funnel analytics that's actually in Kartra. So if you're a bit more advanced, you can use this feature. You can go in and put all your assets in and see, what your funnel is converting at. But this is an example of my funnel here. So the funnel that I'm currently running, so you guys can see how many people I have coming in the funnel. My conversion rate is about 48%. So versus the 30% industry standard. So all those things. So basically what I just walked you through is what you can model out in the funnel analytics to see how you're doing in comparison to those industry standards. And why this is so cool is I can now see, well, if my conversion rate was below that 30% on that opt-in page, I can go and see, well, I can test my messaging. Am I targeting the right people before they even get to the funnel? I can test my headline. So there are different things that these numbers allow you to be able to test so that you can overall improve your conversion rate. All right. Okay, so last thing that we want to do is create that checkout page. So obviously we want people to pay us. And so in order to do that, you need a way for them to check out. And the great thing is you can do all of this in Kartra. So the last thing that we're going to do is create a product that you can use to check out and enroll your clients. So if you're even if you're sending them the link so that they can make the payment, or if you're taking their card by phone, which is typically what I do, creating a product in Kartra will allow you to seamlessly do all this. They can book the call and you can immediately enroll them on the call with your Kartra product. So we're going to do one last thing. So I'm going to head back over to Kartra. All right, get ready for the matrix. Get ready for the matrix. Hold on, buckle your seatbelts. Buckle your seatbelts, guys. All right, so I'm going to exit out of here. And so I'm going to go to products. And I thought I had this already open, but I didn't, which is fine. So I'm going to create a new product. And this is going to be my main product. So I'm going to call this my Novice to Ninja product, right? And so technically this is going to be the product that I use to enroll people into whatever my program is, right? So I'm going to click main product, hit next. It's going to be a main, it's not an upsell, it's not a downsell, it's your main product. And I'm going to call this coaching, whatever you want to call it, whatever your coaching program is called, call it that. This is going to be my, let's call it a 90-day coaching program. All right. I don't want this in the market. I don't want this in the marketplace. So I'm going to keep it private. I can go in and change the logo. I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'm just going to hit save. Literally, the point of this is to just create a product so that you can make the transaction. Now for this, we can configure it for PayPal or credit card. If you are enrolling over a call, I'm not sure if you guys are new to enrolling over a phone, but typically you just want to do this by credit card. So I'm just going to select credit card in this case. I'm going to select my payment gateway. Obviously, you can integrate with Stripe. You can integrate with whatever your payment gateway is. I will say Stripe is probably the most efficient when it comes to trying to do quick enrollments. Square, I believe, after a certain amount requires extra steps that you just don't want to have to go through. So I would say Stripe in this case. I'm not going to show it because I don't need y'all knowing my payment stuff, but you can select your payment gateway. I'm just going to hit configure later. All right. So I'm going to hit save and next, and then we're going to come in and do our pricing. So obviously with coaching, especially if you may be doing like high ticket coaching, you are going to have different price points. Perhaps you're going to have different installment options. You can create all of that here. So for instance, you might have a pay in full option, one-time payment. And let's say it's, I don't want to scare anybody. Let's just do 3,500, right? So we're going to say that is going to be the default price. Then we can create another option. So we can do a payment plan. We can do installments. We can do flexible payment, right? Or if you're consulting, so you might do, I don't know, let's do $1,000. No, let's do $1,500, 3 installments monthly. So 3 payments of $1,500. So, and then you can come here and obviously you can check these boxes based on what you needed to do, but instant versus delayed. So you can decide whether or not you want instant cancellation, all that stuff. Anyway, so the point is we're going to have different payment options. I'm going to do a price of $1,500, 3 monthly installments. I'm going to hit save here. All right. No shipping costs because we're delivering a service. No taxes, refund policy. If you have one, you can do one. I don't. Save that. And then we just hit save and next. And now this is where this is really cool. So obviously, if you're doing like coaching or consulting or even providing a service, you want to have a service agreement. So what I like to do after this thank you page is actually redirect to my service agreement. So if you're on Sign Now, Doc Hub, whatever you use to have that service agreement, you can redirect it here. So if someone is paying from a link, that means that they will be automatically redirected to sign that agreement. Or if I am enrolling someone on a call, it's going to automatically take me to that agreement that I can send out to them. So this is just how I do my workflow. But if you want to send them to a thank you page or something else, you can always do that. For the sake of this exercise, we're just going to say google.com. All right. But just know that that's an option. So we're going to hit save there. I'm going to hit save and next, and then we're going to do our checkout page. So I'm going to just use a Kartra hosted page. I don't need a logo. Like, none of this stuff has to be fancy. Literally, less friction as possible to get people to pay you. This is the name of the game. Like, we don't need extra fancy bells and whistles. Like, what is the minimum that we need in order to get paid? So for this particular, for my services, I'm going to need their phone number. So some of these fields are already mandatory, like their name, email address, all that stuff. I will probably add phone number. So anything else that you need at checkout, you can add that as a field. We've already gone through how to add custom fields in other fields. And so usually they're only buying one service. So none of this stuff I really even change. You may want to put like your terms and conditions on there if you want to, but for the most part, I just leave it as this, and we're just going to hit save and next. All right. So post sale, if you are a coach, consultant, you are mostly coaches, right? You're probably going to send them to a membership portal, right? Now, here's the thing. You can do that, but this is how I handle my business. But you can do whatever you want to. I usually do not directly send people to the membership and give them access after they make the purchase, because I want them to sign the agreement first. So for this, I usually select no access page, just so they can sign the agreement. And once they sign the agreement, I have other automations that will enroll them into the membership. That's just me. But if you just want to go ahead and enroll them, perfectly fine. You can select your Kartra membership and do all that. I personally do no access page. And so that pretty much redirects them to the agreement. And then after the agreement is signed, then they get access to the contents of the portal. So that's just FYI for the coaches out there who have the learning portal. So I'm just going to hit save. No particular automations that we need to do. No adding them to a list. We just hit save and next. No affiliate programs. I don't do any, but if you do, you can add that. And so now we are finished. So we have created our product. All right. So now I want to just go back to this product that we just created, which is Novice to Ninja. I'm going to do a drop down on my products. I'm going to find my Novice to Ninja. And now okay, guys, 1 second. I got to actually put in my payment gateway. So close your eyes so that you don't see it. I'm going to have to put in my payment processor. Close your eyes. Look away. All right. So we're just going to hit save just so I can get past this. And it looks like it was one thing I didn't hit save on. So, product page. You also want to add your product page. So for instance, I just add whatever my sales page is. This is not it, but whatever your sales page is. All right. So now I'm good to go. So now I can click on products at the top. I'm going to go to the drop down Novice to Ninja, which is one of my products. Obviously I have a whole lot. All right. So now I'm just going to hit checkout. This is the fun part. So now if you're on your sales call with someone and you're saying, hey, I have two options of payment, you can just click that checkout button. You can hit next. It'll give you a link. So now all you have to do is on the call, have this page open, and basically you can check them out. Or you can go back and maybe they decided that they want a certain payment option and they want to put in their information. You can select which one and just send the link via the Zoom call that you're going to be on. So literally you have done everything that you need to essentially get clients from being on your social media, from being leads to enrolling them into your coaching program, your consulting offer, whatever it is. So that is it, guys. You have done it. You have successfully created your whole sales funnel. You have successfully created a sales funnel that will allow people to opt in and ultimately become clients, literally. And we did that in pretty much an hour. So super simple, especially if you're working backwards. So hopefully that was helpful. Before we open up for questions, guys, hopefully you guys found this helpful. I'm kind of looking in the chat here, and I think you guys are getting something out of it. So I'm glad that you are. If you guys want to get in touch, I would love to stay connected. I have a free training, the opt-in page that you saw that you can grab. That's my paid marketing and sales system that really outlines my whole marketing system that I use that is inclusive of Kartra. And you can also follow me on IG. At Defo Alexander. And if you want to learn more about my services, you can go to themonetizedmom.com/mastermind. So with that, we can head over to questions.
Amazing, Fo. Wow, that was literally jam-packed. I don't know if you realize how many pro tips you just like sprinkled on every single thing. It was so insane. So good. So let's take a look if we have a few questions. I did see one from Wendy. So she was, when you were making one of the pages from scratch, she kind of wanted to see, she says, I have a difficult time putting something together from scratch with columns and sections. Mm-hmm. Maybe you can break down how you visualize or put that together.
So I keep it quite simple when it comes to those pages. So the reason that I said when we do the pages as a blank, the reason that I did 100% is just because I want to keep it simple. You can like literally just make it one page, put a header at the top, put whatever it is, your asset, your video, whatever below that, and that's all you got to do. So just keep it really simple. 100% is probably the best option.
Awesome. And there's tons of templates too. You know, you can pick a simple template if you wanted to. You can delete sections if that kind of helps visualize things too.
Yeah, that's also a good idea. Just something that's close to what you're thinking and just delete stuff. Kind of like what I did for the thank you page. It's like I took what was there because it had what I needed and just deleted what I didn't need.
Awesome. All right. Mike had a question about how you start the email process and missing the trigger, but I think he did get that answered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we are triggering it based on from the form in the beginning. So yeah. So yeah, the cool thing is you don't have to start it with a trigger if you have an automation that starts further down the funnel.
Awesome. And, you know, a lot of the comments, honestly, Phil, were just like amazed at how you work backwards. So do you have tips? Like, how do you visualize that? Do you write it on paper? Like any tips for working backwards?
I don't. I don't write it on paper. It's probably my engineering brain. But I would say for anyone who's like trying to create their systems within Kartra, yes, the best thing that you can do is create like a workflow. So what's the first step? What's the second step? What has to happen? And kind of visualize it that way, like writing it out or maybe even drawing it out and then working backwards. And that makes the process flow a lot smoother when you're trying to build it all out.
Awesome. Do you always start with like, would it be the thank you page, or is there certain things like, do you have any in your engineering brain maybe like trigger things?
I think a lot of it is also experience because, you know, I've tried building it forwards first, and then you realize, well, I need this and I need this and I need this. So usually I'll always start with the last thing. What's the last thing in the step? Okay, it's probably going to be the calendar. Okay, and so what leads me to the calendar? This, and so that's kind of how I figure out what asset needs to go next. But yeah. So drawing it out, mapping it out, and then I would just say from my own experience, I know I've been using Kartra long enough to know like, hey, it's going to ask me for this. So let me go ahead and create it. But for someone who's just starting out, map it out and just work backwards.
Amazing. I think that was all the questions we have. If you guys have any other questions, then you can reach Fo. It looks like, yeah, your website's there. Do you have an email address as well, or community?
They can do. I can drop it in the chat. Is I think I can. info@ themonetizedmom.com. Yeah, and you can send me an email there. Usually find me on social media. You find me on social media easily too.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Fo. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. If you guys haven't been part of the Kartra community, feel free to join us. If you have any questions for us, we can be reached at community@genesisdigital.co. And we'll see you at the next one. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.